Brexiteer Claire Fox insisted the UK could dismantle any chance from the EU to punish Britain over Brexit by thriving outside the bloc. During an interview with Express.co.uk, Brexiteer Baroness Claire Fox argued a successful Brexit Britain would demonstrate leaving the EU could be a good decision and would put a stop to any plots to humiliate the UK. She noted this could inspire other integral nations to consider leaving the Brussels bloc. This, in turn, could jeopardize the integrity of the EU as nations are shown they can not just survive but thrive outside the bloc. She said, the UK leaving the European Union demonstrates that we can survive, not just survive but thrive. Thriving will be a way of demonstrating to other countries our solidarity with France, Spain or wherever that leaving the EU is a feasible option. Speaking before Boris Johnson signed his historic trade deal with the EU in the last days of 2020, Baroness Fox said, "That is why I have dreaded a bad deal. I don't want to be in a situation where the UK is humiliated and constantly has to go to the EU with its tail between its legs asking for permission to get state aid or do a certain kind of trade. I don't want to be in a situation where we are not actually free and are in some sort of subservient position to the EU without remaining. This is important. We would be suffering the consequences of having a relationship with the EU and we would not want a seat at the table. We don't want a seat at a table, but we also don't want the EU to be dictating things that happen in this country. European leaders have indicated that the UK must follow the rules of the agreement or risk losing access to the single market. Following the EU-UK trade deal on Christmas Eve, Ireland's Deputy Prime Minister Leo Varadkar warned Britain's access to the European market is not unconditional. French Minister Clement Beaune echoed this point and in a tweet and said, "No British access to the EU market without respecting our rules." Massive criticism of British fishermen against this agreement. That is far from the promised total sovereignty. That should make you think. Baroness Fox also reflected on what lessons the EU would have learned after being able to resolve Brexit. She concluded the EU would likely tighten their grip on nations as a defense against other nations opting to leave. She said, "I don't think they have learned anything. All the signs, rhetoric and language I have heard coming out of the EU is that they are hardening up in terms of becoming more federalist. They are also hardening up in terms of stamping down sovereign states' decisions and democratic decisions made by member states at home if they don't comply with the rule book of the EU."